Welcome to another episode of the HealthCast. I'm super excited today to have Susan Dost on. She is the founder of Sheridan In-Home Care in Los Angeles, a thriving business helping elderly patients remain independent and support well-being. So thank you, Susan. Thanks so much for having us on.
Thank you for having me, Phil. It's an honor.
Okay, great. I was excited to meet with you. Tell me how you launched your business. Let's start from the beginning. How'd you get there?
So 24 years ago, I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. So it was just seemed like a natural segue for me to do a woman-owned business. My mom and dad both helped me. They helped me get started. They helped me have the mindset and the mentality to do so. Bit of an ambulance chaser in the beginning with trying to track down clients in greater Los Angeles, and met a few doctors who then helped me really catapult my business and got behind me and got behind this sort of boutique mentality that I still have today, which is the courtship of a caregiver to an elderly person and what matters to both of them and what matters to the client, and then matching them up. So it's still for me a perfect match mentality. And that's a relationship that can run the rest of their lives.
Can I say it back to make sure I understood you right? Matching
Yeah.
the I'm not sure if you use the word patient or maybe client with the with a caregiver that's a good fit for them. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
That's the difference between today's home care company and my company, is that there's a lot of software out there. There's a lot of algorithms. There's a lot of processing where you press a button and a caregiver shows up at your door. I don't believe in that. I just have not. I know that's for ease and functionality, but for me, it's important to build a relationship from the beginning.
Tell me, I was reading on your website just about how your business evolved and the name a little bit. And I grew up in a household with my grandparents lived in my home, at least as they got older. I was curious about how your upbringing or your family may have influenced this. I heard you're from an entrepreneurial family, but why this business? Was there something?
Right. That's a great question. I was in film and television. That's what I studied in college. And then I got to Los Angeles and I thought, well, I don't want to do this anymore. My mom sort of researched what companies are growing, what industries, what sectors to get into. And I relied on her sort of expertise. And she was the one who really told me to go forward in this and helped me. And it was largely based on how I grew up and the relationships that I built and had as my parents and my grandmother. We lived with my grandmother on Sheridan Road, Sheridan Farms. It was a centennial farm. So that meant a lot to me, hence the name of the company. And I just believed that when families come together, you can do anything. As a child, I felt very empowered to do anything. And, that's just how it evolved. Both of my parents passed away at 77. So I felt even a more greater pull to do the work that I do.
Would you go so far as to say it's a calling?
Well, 24 years, you have to call it something, right, Bill? I'm not sure what to call it now. It's just, it's been easy for me, and it's a simple business if you do it right. So it has come easy to me. And the beautiful part is to employ the thousands of people I've employed over the last couple decades. That's been enormously rewarding. So is it a calling? It's brought me a lot of joy and a lot of fun in life, and hugely rewarding. And now the beautiful part is that it's sort of spun off into two other new companies that I'm developing. So that's the exciting part, is that I still love it, and I love it so much that it's even expanded my creativity so that we can do new things with it.
What are some of the new things you're exploring?
Well, one of them comes from a pain point of having a challenge. There's a nationwide shortage in caregiving. So there's a lot of caregivers who are tricky to find, hard to find. And they also, they don't want to work for minimum wage, and they do thankless work sometimes. Sort of, the only analogy I can think of is a flight attendant. But for a caregiver to be paid a little bit more, to be compensated in terms of benefits or a 401k plan, has always been my thing. And that's how we are able to keep them happy so they can in turn take care of folks like your mom and your dad. But what that's also created is that I'm developing an app so that we can do 1-hour visits. A lot of families don't want to have a commitment. They don't want to have long hours. So we're going to be able to order 1-hour visits. It's called Wellness Guard. And that way we can do checks, nutrition, the car, the medicine, the hygiene. We can pop in on them, and then a caregiver can make a little bit more because it's subscription based, and then go from one house to the other in hopefully in clustered in neighborhoods. So we'll white label that and sell it to other home care companies across America. But that's a new and fun product. That's one. And the other one is SIP. So SIP is a super immune protein. It's a high protein nutrition drink for elderly people right now. It can be consumed by anyone, but it's 20 grams of protein. And we have created with food scientists, a powder and a ready to drink liquid. And we'll be able to sell that to facilities. It's designed to compete alongside Boost and Ensure, who are built on sugar and built for shelf life with a
Sure.
lot of artificial color, a lot of artificial flavor. They're a behemoth industry because it's $20 billion a year between the two of those. So SIP is going to enter the market as a plant-based product and be able to be offered in facilities, assisted living, nursing rehabs, and then we'll be on Amazon direct to consumer. And we're going to start with powder. The formulations are done. So I'm in the very close to launching stage with the co-manufacturing. So that's another fun part of it. And that all came from sitting there with a client one day, and I looked down and I read the ingredients of a G tube. And I thought, well, this is made by Nestle. This is full of artificial color and flavor, and it's horrific. And this is what we're feeding people. So quickly they created with these brilliant nutritionists in Simi Valley, a formulation that we're really proud of.
Taking a step back with Sheridan In-Home Care, what have been some of the challenges that you've had to overcome over the years?
Resilient.
Maybe some bigger ones. I'm sure there's a list, but maybe some of the hot ones.
The stick to itness, the everyday getting up, every day having plan B in terms of because you deal with people. So one of the things I'm so excited about with SIP is that I get to deal with the product and eventually we'll segue out of Sheridan and launch Wellness Guard, which is very close to launching, and then go full on with SIP. The people part of it is very difficult some days. You will always be disappointed by people and the lifestyles they have. I've heard every excuse in the world why people have called out sick. So it's just, it could be a coffee table book. But I think that most importantly is the challenge of dealing with people is fascinating and really difficult some days. Once you get over that, you're good. And then you've got the dynamics of the families that you're pleasing, right? You've got to make sure they're happy and they're well cared for. And then they've got sons and daughters all around them. And there's a lot of dynamics in play as people age, especially in the dense metropolitan areas that I'm in with Palm Springs and greater LA. There's a lot of affluence. And so with that comes family dynamics.
Let's talk briefly. What services exactly do you offer for in-home care?
Well, everything that's difficult for them. So as they age and they want to stay home or they're in a facility, they want to have nutrition. So meal planning, meal preparation, medication reminders, bathing, dressing, light housekeeping. Doctor appointments are really big with us. Documentation and communication to the families is also very important. Those are all the things we do. We're very strong in Alzheimer's and dementia care. That's one of the things that SIP has in it is a brain health formulation. So we're very excited about that. But yes, that's a very tricky disease. And so we really want to find the right caregiver who is skilled in navigating that disease. And that's super important to me.
Did I also hear you say that transportation is one of the services? That's great.
Yeah, to and from doctor appointments. Driving in LA is not easy. So we'll be happy to take that over for anyone who needs us to take them around.
I lived in LA for a stint, I recall.
Right.
You now have, is it 3 locations now?
No, just Palm Springs and Los Angeles. Well, we're sort of expanding by word of mouth to places like Temecula and a little bit more of the South Bay, Palos Verdes.
How does the future look for Sheridan In-Home Care?
Well, if you read any of the statistics and the aging population and the silver tsunami and the need and desire for people who want to keep their biggest asset, which is their home, and keep safe in their own home and surrounded by all the things that they've had. We lost an entire community in the Palisades, and watching people who have had their homes for 50 years in that area, 5,500 homes perished. So staying close to home and having a home is very important to elderly people. And so the statistics are crazy. People are living longer and people are really keen to stay in their own homes and be well cared for as we age. And we are aging more healthily now as well. So
Um,
there's nothing but blue sky for any home care owner if they do it right.
did want to call attention to in 2011, you guys won the Dorland Health Award. Is that right? So
Yeah, that was a while.
yeah, it was a while ago, but I think it's worth noting. I've been in medicine 20 years. I've never heard of such a thing. My mom was a geriatric nurse for 40 years, excuse me. Was it best in-home health service in the nation?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, we've gotten, a number of awards. That one is really, we're really thrilled about that. That was held in Las Vegas at a conference. But the other one was the Beverly Hills Customer Service Award. I always get a really big kick out of that because they give you a Tiffany bowl. It's just, that's a tough market. So
Sure.
to win a customer service award in Beverly Hills, I think anyone should get anything what they want from Tiffany's.
I've had other entrepreneurs on my podcast before, and one of the things that we talk about is that some of the services, whether it's an app or whether it's a fall prevention
Mm.
device, a lot of it is to promote independence, self-reliance. And I think you've been saying keeping people in their home, how important that is to them. Oftentimes I use that approach when I want some buy-in. I tell them, well, this is just a tool. It's not, let's say it's like, I'm not saying a walker necessarily, but it's a tool to help avoid this or to support, like maybe they can still live and do most of the things in their home, but your services help provide a little bit of a gap or a cushion where maybe other things are challenging. Is that fair to say?
It is fair. And on the coattails of that, what's so popular now is technology. And I really love this company called Future Care, and it's a non-invasive monitoring system. And so we're going to partner with them to try to put systems in place that are non-intrusive. So there's no cameras or
Yeah.
anything, but they're just detection devices. So
Like a
walking
motion
down steps. Yeah. If
I've
a
seen this.
cupboard's open, or they're going downstairs, we're able to monitor them, make sure they haven't fallen, make sure they've taken their medicine. So I think that is going to be key for aging in place.
What would you tell your younger self? Any advice that would have been helpful if you knew then what you knew now? Just for some insight or maybe some guidelines or just some tidbits of what you learned.
Well, I always say this in being a CEO is super lonely, can be really lonely. And because you have to make a million decisions throughout the day by yourself, and there's no one really to say, oh, I don't think you should do that, or that's not going to work. So for me, it's really getting a mentor from the beginning and really making sure that um, I have someone to bounce things off of. And if I had that, I would have avoided a number of pitfalls and costly mistakes. So even though you're the CEO and you're running, at one point, I think we had 115 employees. We're not quite that big right now, but we're getting bigger. COVID was a tremendous setback to the home care industry, in that people didn't really
Families
want
were home.
yeah, we lost many clients. They passed
Sure.
away, and also caregivers didn't want to go to work, and families didn't want caregivers. So
Yeah.
even that period of time to have our mentor and to have someone, and for me to have a weekly, because you feel a bit unmoored. You're just this little rocky ship sometimes, and you think you're making the right decision, and perhaps you aren't, but only you are going to be accountable, and the effects spill over to your employees and to your clients. So someone to moor yourself to, and also to bounce things off of, I think is the greatest advice I can give, because there are so many mistakes that I made that I wouldn't wish upon anyone.
To be able to ask for help maybe or a mentor some guidance
Oh,
even though you're an intelligent lady, you're a leader, but just still being able to be open to getting some feedback or searching out some feedback.
yeah, absolutely. It's key to have a network to belong to. And I do now. So that's been invaluable, but it's 24 years in.
Trying to get smarter as I get older. I think that applies to CEOs or anyone just being maybe for me as a male, just maybe listening a little more.
Well, you're doing a brilliant service now. I mean, you have people on, you're asking a lot of the right questions. You're learning and you're helping educate other people through through this process of having your podcast. So I think it's great what you're doing.
Thanks, Susan. Appreciate it. How about zooming out in terms of as a society? Do you think have there been any shifts in how we view the elderly population, or any kind of growth, or any things that have changed for the better, or for the worse that you've seen over your 24 years?
It's just gotten expensive. So home care can be a luxury item at this point, and I wish it weren't. There are some programs that you can tap into, but you have to really be a strong advocate for yourself to get care as you age. And it shouldn't just be for the affluent, in my opinion. There should be more programs. Medicare Advantage sort of failed in that way, but there should definitely be more programs people can tap into.
In terms of our relationships and respect for the older population. Again, I grew up, really, I had a great relationship with my grandparents. I'm not sure if that's the case across for lots of people or for us as a nation. Have you felt any changes, if people are more receptive to hearing stories, especially with electronics, or are we just so youth focused, or has it been pretty steady, or have you seen changes, or is that some area of life that the more things change, the more things stay the same?
Well, aging is unavoidable, and it's just how we do it. And if we do it well, that's sort of the golden ticket, in that a lot of elderly people are dismissed in our society
That's what I'm touching on. Yeah.
because of the reasons you just said, because of technology, because it's immediate gratification society. So in that, we just can't dismiss it, even though our lives are super busy now and children are busy with their jobs. They're working longer. People are living longer. So our capacity has to expand to not discriminate and to not dismiss elderly people. So it is a tough society to grow older in right now, and adapting to technology is super important for elderly. That's why gadgets are bigger, phones are bigger now in people's homes, and grandkids want to connect with their grandparents in that way. So we have to be patient, even more so in the way that we're not, to give them the tools they need to stay tethered to us.
It's a proactive approach, is what I heard.
Mm.
Yeah, that's cool. What's one of your proudest moments from over the years? Is there something that stands out to you that you're really proud of, for either for your business or for human relationships?
Well, that's a really sweet question. What am I proud of? I am extremely proud of my children. I have two girls, 6 and 10, and I'm extremely proud to be their mother and to be an entrepreneur and be able to teach them skills that they normally wouldn't get, or they may perhaps not get in college, or as they pursue whatever advanced degree they want to pursue. There's going to be some tricks that I will be able to pass on to them. Super proud, and they're proud too. They're proud of me, and that's a sweet, give and take that we have. Really proud to employ the people that I employ. I'm extremely proud of my team that supports me on a daily basis, and I'm lucky to be free and still have a lot of free time to expand my life and expand on my current relationship that I love and adore. So I'm really, really just in a very, very proud place, and really empowered to continue to do good things in the world from where I'm at and the lessons I've learned.
That's great. I got that sense of your genuineness and your sincerity when I was reading over Sheridan In-Home Care, the website. Not just employees, but a sense of family amongst the staff, a sense of connectedness is what I gathered. So, well, Susan, thank you so much for joining me for a conversation here on the HealthCast. It was really a pleasure to learn more about what you do and how you're impacting lives in your community. Thank you so much.
No, Phil, keep doing what you're doing. It's very needed. So thanks for having me.
You bet. All right. Thanks again for tuning in, and stay tuned for our next episode. Thank you so much.